experience of what we have here is actually a coming together of what I sort of explained to be people who live online and people who have to live in the real world at the same time. And while there's not a lot of tagging going on, there's a lot of conversation, I do want to ask you to think about talking to the other people who you don't know, and to try to tag people and try to meet other people, because one of the things I've discovered here, and it's discovered by doing breakfast, is that there's a chance that the next person you meet could actually change your life. And more importantly, for some of you, you will be the person that changes somebody else's life by something you have to say or something that you're about to do. And there are reasons why people come to these events, and each and every one of you is that reason. And so I apologize for not being able to say hi to everyone here individually. It's gotten a little bit crowded for that. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on in this world. I've spent the last 3 years trying to understand social media, and what I'm convinced of is that the technologies that we use every day as part of our lives are not going away. That what will go away over time is email. That, to the extent that today people are basically texting each other and IMing each other and Facebooking each other, that's going to continue. And in another 10 or 15 years, email will be a legacy system that no one knows about. And in the meanwhile, there's a lot of great opportunities that are here for you to take advantage of, regardless of the industries you're in. Whether you're in school, looking for a job, or have an idea, I believe that social media and social communications is something which is going to be a very big field, because the way that we communicate is changing, and the way that you communicate with your friends is changing the face of business, whether you're in the media industry, the entertainment industry, whether you're in the internet industry or the communications industry, and these trends are very important to everybody else. Stuff that you take for granted will dramatically affect the way other people do their business in the future. I don't know how many people here in Israel during the inauguration in America were on Facebook and CNN Live, but I know some of us were. And being able to see live video or live television together with your live Facebook friends status updates or the Twitter feeds is sort of a next generation television, like called social TV. And I think it's something which is going to have a tremendous effect on the way that we consume content in the future. One of the things each and every one of you here are, though, is in social media you are a brand. You may not realize this. Some of you may work inside of companies and you don't think anyone notices you, but in the world of social media, each and every one of you has an identity that matters. And one of the things that will happen over time is your identity will have value, and that over time, based on how many friends you end up communicating with, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, or other social networks, you have a reach. So if you have 50 friends or 500 friends or 5,000 friends, and these are people you connect to, in the future, I believe advertisers will actually compensate you for having relationships, because eventually they'll figure out a way to make money through you by you sharing your passion for certain products, and then on the back end, people actually will thank you for doing that. And so it's all part of this ecosystem that's growing up. So one of the things that I discovered about, so how many people here, by the way, are on Twitter? How many people here can't figure out what Twitter is? And for everybody else, so one of the biggest, one of the hottest products in the States right now in social media is Twitter. And 3 years ago, when it launched in 2006, it was all for microbloggers and people who read TechCrunch. In 2007, it crossed over. In 2008, social media had a tremendous effect on the U.S. election. It had a tremendous effect on many things. And today, there are celebrities on Twitter. There are people who are in the media industry, whether they're reporters or people, television stations, they're on Twitter. And major events, whether it's the Grammys, the Oscars, or major events in the U.S., are all sharing information. And one of the secrets for all of this, to try to figure out what this is all about, I discovered is on Twitter, if you allow yourself to be a person. Now, some people go online and they create walls around them, so they don't share too much. How many people here are on Facebook? How many people here update their Facebook status more than twice a day? How many people here can't figure out why their friends update their Facebook status more than twice a day? Well, I'll argue that the people who update their Facebook status more than twice a day are more interesting than you. Why? Because these people are sharing something about themselves. I believe that life matters. I believe life moments are things that actually capture something. And if it was special for your friend to say something, whether they're here, whether they just had a coffee or just bought an iPod, whatever it is, it was a moment in time that mattered. And one of the things which your friends are doing, which you may not be doing, is sharing elements of your life. On Twitter, what I discovered is if you allow yourself to be vulnerable, and what I mean by that is share things about you with other people, over time, more people will connect with you. It's your responsibility to figure out, like, so I happen to have about 16,000 people that follow me on Twitter now. I started out with nobody following me on Twitter. But what I discovered is if you can gain the respect of the people around you, if you have if you create have a reputation for being proper in that environment, and you're socially responsible because you're not spamming the people who are your friends, more people will come by. And part of that experience is actually sharing things about you that you may normally not share to anyone else. But it's being human. And the human side of the element of being human, the humanity around us, I found is one of the secret sources that make Twitter very special. Because over the past couple of years, I've been on Twitter at different points in my life with different things personally happening to me. And what I discovered was love. I discovered that when people share experiences, both bad and good, on Twitter, people who you don't even know, they're just following you, will come out and say something and provide comfort, which never existed before. And all of a sudden, it became very real. You know, you may not know this about me, but I actually happen to be a very shy person, or at least I used to be. And I grew up in a world of being very invisible and very lonely. And I figured out how to, I grew up, but for me it was the radio. I had a ham radio, which is not popular these days, but I'm sure some of you may know somebody that once had a ham radio that let people talk to the world. Well, for me it was the radio. But it was by reaching out and connecting with people, I was able to actually figure things out. Today it's the internet and social media, and Twitter for me has become that radio. But by sharing things about yourself and connecting with people, there's an empowerment which is very, very hard to explain to people who are not on Twitter, people who are not sharing. So if you're skeptical, if you want to try an experiment, if you're not updating a Facebook status today, tomorrow make a point to actually say something about yourself. All of a sudden, your friends will notice you, because all of a sudden your Facebook status change shows up in your friends' news feeds. If you do this consistently, all of a sudden one of your other friends will actually contact you. About a year ago, I hosted a breakfast at Reuters in New York City. And the one thing I learned about Facebook was after doing the breakfast, there were about 150 people there, and I was very impressed that Reuters picked up the tab. I couldn't figure out why people would be so nice to me, so I insisted I do something nice for them. So I asked them, what could I do? And the person from Reuters told me that they're hosting a conference, and they had the Secretary General of the United Nations coming, they had someone else coming, and they wanted to know if I knew Leo DiCaprio, because they wanted to have Leo DiCaprio come talk. You know what I said? Well, I said no, but I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. And I put a Facebook status message up saying, I'm looking for a friend whose friends is good friends with Leo DiCaprio. 3.5 hours later, I get a message from a friend of mine who wanted to know why. 2 days later, Leo was connected to Reuters. And that's sort of the power to me of what your friend, by changing your status message, what it's about. It's because you never know who your friends' friends are. You never know who your friends' friends can contact you. And whether it's for business or for pleasure, there are many things you can do by reaching out and being connected. So I just want you to think about that. So by the way, I'd like to thank Dror for bringing stickers here. At the next breakfast, so last year we started doing self-tagging, and now we've actually made it Web 2.0 compatible, because now you have tags where you can fill in whether you're looking for a job and what your skills are, or if you're an employer, you can fill in who you're looking to hire. And of course, what we're really promoting here is an open API per person. So these are all apps, and I appreciate your openness to provide apps to everybody here. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I thank you for coming. Please socialize. Please don't be shy, and please connect with the people around you. And I hope to see you at a future event, but thanks for coming out today.